All right, guys. How is it going? Just wanted for anybody who might be watching this in the future, like, I apologize if I cough, sneeze, have to blow my nose. Like, it's been a lot today. So apologize for for that. But I'm gonna try and get through this call with you and give you all the information that you need as far as setting great goals that you can actually follow through on 2024. We're gonna start with a couple of announcements, and then afterwards, I'll go through the topic pieces, go through some really interesting statistics that are from the last couple of months that I think will help it ring home that it is time to make an intentional change, and it'll help you kind of stay consistent with those as well. But as far as announcements go, all check-ins are caught up as of right now or as of this afternoon. Focus on getting back into good habits this week. A lot of us have been sick the last week. A lot of us have been on the road traveling. A lot of us were, at multiple Christmas events or holiday events. A lot of us are on break from school because many of us are teachers. Not me, many of you are teachers. So just focus on getting back into good habits this week after last week. Another thing that I really like to hit home on is if your mom or Aunt Susie or whoever sent you home with a whole dish full of goodies, please ask yourself, are they really worth keeping? If they are, then by golly, keep them, enjoy them, right? But if it is just the run of the mill things that you have all the time or like every single year and you have them in mass quantities and you've already enjoyed some of them, truly ask yourself, is it worth it to keep that whole tray of things? Whether it is side dishes or rolls. We got someone with a whole bag of rolls, like if it's cookies, whatever it is, decide if it's worth keeping. And if it's going to be too tempting for you to hold on to, then get rid of it. Okay. Um, Another thing I wanted to just make sure you guys knew about my resilient one-on-one coaching. If you want to grab one of those spots, those spots will all close on Sunday, so whether or not they are full. So if you guys have had interest in that at all, this would be the time to hop on it. If not, no big deal. I will be opening it again in the spring, and that's when another time is that people can take advantage of that. So that's how that looks. The January Kickstart, your last chance to enter for that is on Sunday as well. Many of you are already signed up for that and you're ready to go. It's so easy, you guys. So if you have to be in my app, which I believe everybody on this call is in my app. But if you are intermediate or basic plan, it's $10 to enter, and then we have all of these habits and everybody can win and all of that good stuff. If you are an unlimited member, then you can get into that for a discounted rate of $5, right? So you get that discount in there. And then all of the proceeds, so we're up to about $130 minus the taxes that came through. So however that ends, I will donate to the winner's charity of choice. So you're going to go through and do all these things every day in January that will help you get moving in the right direction, build good habits, get things going. And then at the end, all the people that like make it to the threshold point of earning the set amount of points, you will then be entered into win and donate the money to whomever you choose. So excited to do that with that and see who we end up sending money to. So that'll be fun. If you have questions about that, let me know. A couple of things that are coming up. We have a core add-on program as well as advanced only program that will be ready on Monday. The core program is 3 days a week. So if you want this assigned to you as like a legit add-on program, it can run on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I would suggest taking a day between kind of thing. So making it that 3 days with buffers would be a good idea. If you want that added on, it'll be super easy. Just shoot me a message on Monday, say I want this added in. I'll go ahead and assign it to you and I'll be all good. It will also be available as an on-demand option in your folder. So that way you can go in there and you can just choose a random core workout to do as you please. So that's what those will be in there for as well. We're also going to have the bands only program available on Monday. It's going to be great for my heavy travelers or for people that are brand new, that only have bands to work with, that kind of thing. It's going to be a 4-day-a-week program. Once again, going to also be an on-demand program. So you guys can go in there, you can choose a bands only workout as you so choose if you're traveling or if you need that kind of a thing once in a while. So that's what that'll be for. Let's see. From there. So now, as far as 2024 goals, okay, what I did is I went and looked at a whole bunch of current statistics for resolutions and goals and what people are making resolutions about and how long they last and why people tend to fail and all of that. And I just think it really helps to see where you kind of fall in there and to help you get ahead of that curve. Um, so goals are a very important thing to consider, but not just at the new year, but all year round. And I think that's where people kind of lose sight of that. People in this group, you guys are all really good at setting goals all year around. You've already made that very clear, which is amazing. But we all do have new goals usually going into the next new year. So be sure to be thinking about that. It's always a good time to set some good goals. I'm not so big on the word resolutions, but goals. However, most people do tend to fall off, and there's a few key reasons for that. They're not setting specific enough goals, so they have a lack of education on the topic. So what happens when you have lack of education on the topic? You don't understand why things aren't working or going the way that you expect them to. Instead of looking into it further or asking someone for help, you stop, you quit, you fail, you say, screw it, it doesn't work, right? Instead of having the knowledge and learning the knowledge that you need in order to be successful on said topic. Um, Lack of support is another big one. Like you can only withstand so much pressure from people. Gosh, I'm so sorry for this. Oh God. Okay. I'm not gonna have any skin left on my nose after today. I swear it's so bad. Um, so if you have lack of support at home or at work or whatever, and people are always harping on you to enjoy the thing, to do the thing, to skip that, to do that, and you never really get to follow through on what you want without it always being a fight, it's gonna be really, really hard. So finding that supportive group of people, us, is gonna be a really big helper for you in order to follow through. Um, Not managing your time appropriately is a huge one, you guys. If you procrastinate with your time, if you say that you're going to set a scheduled time, but then you aren't able to follow through on it because you just can't handle when your schedule gets hijacked or you hijack it yourself because you hit snooze 4 times or whatever the case is, if you don't use your time appropriately, it's going to be really hard to follow through on your goals because you're not making them priorities yet. You're making all of the other things priorities. So that's how that looks. Another one is having unrealistic expectations. Oh my God, this is a huge one, right? Especially in the fitness and health industry and world. Like people come to me expecting to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Not unless we cut your leg off. Like, that's not how I do things. So don't come expecting that. But you don't know any better. So being open to learning about it and understanding why that's probably not the best thing for you in very rare cases could potentially be, but 99% of people, that's a no. Okay, so really having realistic expectations is going to set you up for success, understanding what to expect as you move forward, what you should expect to see for progress in whatever goal you're attacking by a certain date. You should be able to see that and have it be a trackable thing. So I think that's important to take into account. Now, according to Forbes, which I always love using Forbes because I do find it to be very up to date. They did a survey this fall. About 62% of people feel the pressure to set a resolution, and then slightly more women than men in that, right? So women feel more pressure to make a resolution than most men do. Um, 20% of people say that they can hold themselves accountable. Now, I think that that's actually pretty impressive to know that 20% of people feel like they can hold themselves accountable, but that means that 80% of people know that they probably need someone to kind of be checking in on them to hold them to their word. And that's going to be the case for many people. It's really hard to follow through on saying what you're going to do when it's something hard or that's something new if you're not holding yourself accountable to somebody else. So I think that that's just really impressive that there's actually 80% of people that are willing to admit that they kind of need that extra kick in the butt. So kudos to them because those numbers changed a lot since last year. um, and then from there, let's see, about 6% of people admit to lacking confidence in reaching their goals this year. That means that 6% of people go into it totally expecting it to not happen at all. Why in the world would you do it in the first place? Right? Like that just doesn't make any sense why you would set goals, intentions to have resolutions, to do whatever in 2024 if you legitimately expect yourself to not follow through, to not do well. I don't understand. So I think it's just really important to put that stuff into effect, to really like, understand that most people going into things, one, need some accountability, and that's not a weakness. And two, if you go into it with negative thoughts, expecting to fail or not do well, you are probably going to fail and not do well. So 59% of goal setters are between the ages of 18 and 34 years old. Woo, I'm outside of that age category. I'm going to be 36 next week. So kudos to people that are outside of that age range still making goals, because so many people are not making goals in that age category. So if you are in that age category as well with me, way to go. Only 19% over the age of 55 are setting goals of any kind. It's so sad to hear that, because, like, over 55, there's so much life left. And especially if it's a health goal or a fitness goal or something like that, to know that only 19% of people expect to be able to try and follow through on a goal at that age is super sad, because I know I work with a number of people in that age bracket over 55 that have had excellent results over the years. So if you're in that category, know somebody in that category, like, keep getting after it, you guys, because you are the prime options to actually do amazing work and have amazing progress. Um, let's see. Only about half of parents with kids living at home, so about 54% of people in that category are setting goals. So typically what I see is people that have kids living at home, which is most of us here. Um, what you kind of like come up with as an excuse is that kids are taking too much time. Their sports, their activities, their all their stuff is taking up too much time. It's too expensive. You can't focus on you, take care of you at the same time. So you don't bother setting any goals until they're old enough and they leave the house. And then at that point, you're in this over 55 area, pretty close to. And then you don't set any goals anyway, because now all of a sudden you're too old, which is a bunch of horse hockey. So that's something to really keep in mind too, is like, set the goal now, right? If you're making the excuses because your kids are home, they're more of an excuse to do it than not to. So just kind of the things that are going around in our country. So I think that it's really interesting, the dynamics of people and how they go through their thinking patterns. Um, People legitimately expect to quit. So they actually have a ditch New Year's resolutions day, January 17th, and then Quitters Day. They literally have a day called Quitters Day, which is the second Friday in January. You guys, why do we have holidays like this? Pre-labeled as Quitters Day. Since when has that been okay, unless you're quitting a bad habit, which most people aren't quitting smoking on, second Friday in January. Like, that's not the case. So if you make a resolution and you make it basically to the end of January, give yourself a pat on the back, you all, because you are exceeding expectations of most of people who do this. So great work there. Um, the average resolution lasts 3.74 months, and only 8% of people stick with their goals in the US for one full month. 22% last about 2 months, and then only 1% lasts the full year. So if you're here next year at this time, which some of you were here last year at this time, you're part of the 1%. Way to go. Like, be happy about that, because there's so many people that just don't care. They don't care. They stop caring, and then life catches up with them, and they never really fix their problems. There's just more and more. So just understand that if you're consistently trying, you are still going to make progress, and that is what's important. Action-oriented goals are more likely to be successful than avoidant goals. So what they mean by that, and like what I take that to be, is you have to have like an action-oriented, right? So say that you want to save more money. It doesn't always have to be about health and fitness. Say you want to save more money. Okay, so action oriented is every single paycheck, you're going to put $10 automatically into your savings account. Act as if you never saw it. $10 goes automatically into your savings account. That is an action oriented goal. Something happens, right? Whereas if it's an avoidant goal, I'm going to avoid Amazon. No, you're not. I'm going to avoid Target. No, you're not. Right? Like, you have to stop trying to take things away from yourself and start adding in habits to your life in order to make things actually happen. So this often happens with food and nutrition a lot too. I am not going to eat sugar ever again. Yes, you are. Right? Like, don't try and do that to yourself. Instead of trying to take away sugar, let's try and add in fruits. Let's try and add in vegetables. Let's try and add in protein, right? Try and add something instead of taking something away. Instead of saying, I'm never going to drink again, let's try and say, like, I'm going to have 4 waters for every beer that I have, or whatever the case is. Make it something that's a non-negotiable for you, where it doesn't eliminate your opportunity to enjoy said thing, but forces you to make more of a balance of it, to do something actionable with it, to add something to your habits instead of avoiding something. Hopefully that kind of makes sense in the midst of all of this. Okay, so one more time. Okay, so the best ways that I have found to really beat being one of your statistics that we just talked about is understand your why and your why right now. Why does your why right now really matter? Because that is going to make a really, really, really big difference. If you say my why is for my kids, okay, cool. That sounds great and really noble and wonderful and a totally suitable option. But why does it matter right now? Why didn't it matter last year? Right? Is one of your kids getting ready to get married and you need to, be able to walk them down the aisle. And right now you can hardly walk up a flight of stairs. Okay, now we have a why right now. It's really important. Or, maybe you are planning to start a family, but if you don't get healthy right now, it's going to be really, really hard to have a healthy pregnancy and delivery. Makes a lot of sense for a why right now, right? We need to make sure that we know why right now is really important. What are the repercussions that are going to happen if you don't follow through on it starting now, right? That's going to be what really holds you to it. It's not what you're earning right now because that's delayed gratification anyway. But why right now it's really important is what the stuff is that you are avoiding running into later. You get healthy right now, you're going to feel great when you have grandkids later. You're going to feel great in that wedding dress. You're going to feel great, you know, not laying in a hospital bed. Instead, you're hiking up a mountain, whatever the case is, right? You need to have that why right now in the back of your head. Um, let's see. Break down your goals into milestones and set appropriate dates. So they need to be like action oriented things. We should be able to know where we're going to be come a certain date that we've accomplished, like the money situation. By July, I should have $60 in my savings account more than I have in December because I've added $10 a month every month. That right? Super easy to watch and see. So weight wise, we need to know what is an appropriate goal. If we have 75 pounds to lose, well, if we're going to do this right, we're going to aim for 1 to 2 pounds at most per week, right? On average. So by this date, I can expect if I follow the plan and I listen and I do what I'm supposed to do, I should be about here. I should feel this way, right? Things that are actionable, things that you can measure. So breaking them down into milestones, going to help you a lot to stay motivated when you hit each milestone. Um, Adapt to daily intentions that will help always to reach your goals long term. Those are the kinds of things that we're doing like January Kickstart. That's the kind of things I teach you guys to do all the time. That's drinking your water no matter what you're eating. That's going for an intentional walk, no matter how short it may be, moving intentionally every day. That's going to be always being protein forward, trying to minimize processed foods at any point that you can, right? Those are the kinds of habits that are always going to push you forward instead of backward. So adapt to those daily intentions every day that help support this goal. That will be a big game changer for you. Let's see. What can you add instead of remove? So we kind of touched on that earlier. Avoiding, removing, not allowing yourself. All that you can think about is the thing that you said you can't have anymore. So that means that you really need to stop avoiding and eliminating and saying no to yourself about like absolutely not ever for certain things. I mean, unless it's like deadly dangerous, right? If you're trying to quit Coke, cool. Like let's do that. Mackenzie laughs, but I mean, okay, I had to throw it out there, right? If we're trying to quit something like that, like yeah, let's move forward. But if we're trying to give up some Reese's peanut butter cups, okay, it's okay if we have one of those sometimes. We don't have to say absolutely not to a Reese's peanut butter cup ever again. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. Oh my God. Okay, so with that, add in habits instead of trying to avoid and eliminate everything. And then the last piece that I really have that's really been a game changer for me for the last few years, which you guys see this kind of come through in all of my stuff each year, but I pick a word around November, December for the following year that really embodies everything that I want to really attack that year. So, like in 2022, it was undeniable. I wanted to become absolutely undeniable in my Tanya, I'm so glad you love my humor. Um, I wanted to become absolutely undeniable in my pursuit of figuring out what I wanted and where I needed to be in order to achieve the things I wanted. I wanted to be undeniable in my eyes, and at that point, other people's eyes too, which I've grown from there. But undeniable is the word. I named my cookbooks after it. I named coaching plans after it. I put it as my passwords and stuff, right? Do that with your next words, right? So this year's was resilient. I have a resilient coaching plan. I have a resilient cookbook. I use resilient in all kinds of different ways. So it pops up in my words every day. Resilient meant I had to be stronger than what was being presented to me every day. And let me tell you, I put that word to work this year and it has paid off. Right. So each time things get really, really hard, what word can embody where you want to be? It needs to be able to empower you and push you through. That empowers this word for me this year. So probably going to see a coaching plan called Empower, right? Alicia's last year was fearless. I love that one. It's such a good one. I have other people that use intentional, prioritize, authentic. I love that one too. Oh, that's a really good one. There's so many. And honestly, you have a few days left. Try on a couple different words for a day at a time. How do you feel about it when you look at it? Like when I look at like maybe a food I want to enjoy, but I know maybe I don't really need to, right? Is it going to empower me to have that? Or is it going to kind of pull me back? When somebody wants me to do something for them that I know is against what I'm trying to do, um, is that going to empower my business and my people to keep growing and flourishing like we've been doing? Or is it going to hold them back for just this one person's sake? Really look at this word as your opportunity to push you through those hard times. That's what it's there for. Put your passwords as it. Write it somewhere that you see it every day. Get a sticker that says it, put it on your computer, put it as a background on your phone. Wherever you're going to see it all the time, that's where you need to put it. So that's what I've got for you. Let me know. You are welcome to unmute, ask questions. You put them in the chat. I'll give you a minute. And I'm happy to help with whatever. I know that I sound and look terrible. I honestly feel better than I felt for the last few days. It's all just leaking now. But let me know. I'll give you guys a second. All right, guys, cool. Well, thank you for joining me. I know these weeks are super hard between holidays, so I appreciate you for being here and joining this loveliness. If you do come up with questions or you want help coming up with a word or anything like that, let me know. Thank you, Alicia. And then I will chat with you guys throughout the week. Have an awesome one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.